Hi everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of our Immigrant podcast series hosted by the Canada Plug. My name is Bimbola Akinoye. I am the founder of the Canada Plug, a shipping and logistics company that operates within Canada and Nigeria. We are here highlighting the stories of immigrants here in Canada that are doing exciting and amazing work. My guest today is somebody that I have so much respect for. He is an accomplished social entrepreneur, a champion for diversity and inclusion, and is also the esteemed president of the Network of Nigerians in Canada, Mr. Uche Okugo. I'm so excited to have you join us today on this episode. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Bimbo. Thank you very much.
Wow. I can't believe it. I feel like I'm starstruck right now. Like, oh my gosh.
Stop it. I'm shy.
Okay, so I know that I know you, but there are a lot of people that will probably be watching us and listening to us later that do not know who you are. So if you want to let us know who Uche Okugo is, what you've been doing, and what we should expect from you.
So thank you once again, Bimbo. Like you said, my name is Uche Okugo. I am the president of Network of Nigerians in Canada. I wear a couple of hats, but...
A lot.
Backtrack to a few years, before I came to Canada, back in Nigeria. It was all about, going to school, get out of school, get a job, make money, save money, get married. Not that Nigerians are not ambitious people, but the system pretty much makes you streamlined, and all you see tends to be just a straight path before you.
Right.
I did navigate all that, done with school, got a job. I started off in the telecoms industry, and that was in 2002. 2002 I finished school, did my youth service, and started with then V-Mobile.
Oh, yeah, EchoNet.
Yes. So, they kept changing their names.
Right.
So, I did all that thing with the telecom industry, worked in a couple of cities, a couple of states, ended up in Lagos. I was covering parts of Ogun State, and it was quite a stretch. It was almost half the entire state. But I did all that, and then, in 2016, I'm like, okay, let's move on to something else. So I left the telecom industry and went fully into civil engineering practice, because that's my first degree. I have an MBA as well. And I did a contract job in Kano State for some time in 2017. Got done with that, came back to Lagos, got into facilities management. And then all this while, I was beginning to process the whole Canada immigration thing. And so by 2018, that clicked. And myself and my wife came to Canada as permanent residents, arrived, and it was a whole new world. So before we immigrated, one thing I learned from IOM, they are into, immigration training as well.
What's IOM?
It's like integrated orientation something. I missed the M.
No, that's fine.
But their ministry is basically just people that are permanent residents, just are waiting to travel to Canada, come for training. Let's tell you about Canada, the provinces, what is there, all the opportunities. So one thing they did say is once you arrive in Canada, arrive with an open mind. Because truly in Canada, you can be and do anything. Those words they stuck to me. And once I arrived in Canada, I was conscious of that fact. I was eager to see how this whole space can enable you think anything, be anything, do anything, and I saw that.
I want to take you on that be anything or do anything, because knowing your resume right now, you are actually doing everything in Canada. Like you work with the city of Brampton as like an investment advisor, investment attraction coordinator, and managing portfolios from African and Caribbean markets. I know that is not an easy job to find, but yeah, of course, working that portfolio excellently. How has that, inspired you to do more?
So to start with, one thing I learned in life from my dad is whatever is worth doing is worth doing well.
Yes.
He would often tell me, measure 9 times and cut once.
Wow.
So you get it right the first time. So I grew up with this mindset that anything at all I want to do, it has got to be done well. So getting the job, yes, it's not an easy job, but I built myself into that. Remember I said my background is civil engineering. It's not related to investment attraction.
I know.
But once I came to Canada, I focused on community economic development. So I had, events where I brought in people from the private and public sector to speak, because I am still a member of Rotary Club of Brampton.
Right.
So when I was president, I made sure I used that as an advantage to talk about community economic development, bringing people, private, public sector, consul generals, high commissioners, captains of industries, and even members of the government economic development office in Brampton.
Right.
They came a couple of times. So I prepared the ground for that industry to know who I am, to see my abilities, see how taking advantage of my network would work for that space. And then once that opening came in,
Uche, you're dropping gems. Like, you're dropping too many gems. I'm not even sure which one to ask you now. Because I was going to say the volunteering part. And then also tapping into your network. Can you expand on what networking has done for you as an immigrant? Because, a lot of us, of course, immigrants I'm talking about now, would usually feel like, oh, I have my 9 to 5, that's all I'm doing. There's no need for like social or extra curricular things like, networking or volunteering in, organizations that could probably even propel you to your next job. So I wanted you to, kind of educate us on like what you have done and what you think would be helpful.
So imagine getting an invitation to attend an event.
Right.
And I show up in an event and boom, I am in the same space with the Premier of Ontario.
I know.
I get to meet with him. We get to talk one-on-one and he listened to me. And then the next thing, he got excited about what we're talking about. And he said, you know what? We need to take this forward. He calls someone, books an appointment, and he shows up in my Rotary Club as a special guest.
Right.
You would never get opportunities if you don't turn up. So the first thing you need to do is turn up. Anybody any event, just turn up. You don't know who they know.
Exactly.
You don't know who will be there.
Exactly.
Turn up with an intention. Okay, I know where I'm going to. I know what I want. I know who I'm hoping to see. When I see those people, I should know what to say to them.
Right.
Take advantage of that networking. Go prepared. So volunteering or networking has done tons for me because I make sure that for every relationship I create, I service it. I build it. So when they have events, when they have activities, they could invite you to just show up. They could invite you to volunteer, invite you to do something. Make sure you're turning up. I spent my time turning up and I gained experiences because not only did I meet wonderful people, I also got to know a lot.
Right.
And so once I began to plan my own events, I knew who to invite, how to invite them, what to tell them is an expectation. So when they show up, boom, they give your program credence, to give your program value. So yes, I have met wonderful people by networking, and it's helped me climb up the ladder because sometimes you're actually meeting people that are above. Mm-hmm. So it's easier for them to just stretch out and lift you up.
Right.
And then once you are up as well, you have to pay it forward. So it makes sense to look back and lift others up as well. And it's something we've done so well with Network of Nigerians in Canada. When we started, it was just first a gathering to help new immigrants get accommodation because it was a big deal then. I suffered that as well.
Right.
But then we realized that, hey, the problem of a new immigrant goes beyond just accommodation. They need to have a good job. They need to have connections. They need to go out, meet people, do things. They need to feel confident. And building confidence isn't just having an education or a good job or making money.
Right.
It's got a lot to, you have to be a well-rounded person. Mm-hmm. And to be that, you have to actually go out a lot. And so we began to see the need to create more for people. And as we began to create more for people, we found out that it's important also to blaze the trail. We're probably doing something that is a pathfinder path here. Mm-hmm. Make sure that as you're creating the path, you're enabling others to be able to do something.
Right.
So either once you're not there anymore or once you are doing something else, people would have been able to find their own path because you have created that path for them. So that pretty much worked out well. Even in our events, we made sure that people that come into those event spaces have roles to play. We give chances for volunteers, the youth, children, families, and even the elderly, the seniors in the country. And that has pretty much paid out. Network of Nigerian in Canada is 5 years old this year.
Yay.
We did celebrate that with a lot of activities.
I was there at the celebration.
Yes.
I actually do volunteer at the Network of Nigerians in Canada, actually.
Yes, I know that. Thank you so much.
It's just shamelessly plugging you guys. You need to pay for adverts. But But I think I really do, and I mean that's why I'm volunteering. I must commend like the team at the Network of Nigerians in Canada, because it's one thing to just have like a group of people just doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff. But I think that, initiatives like providing scholarships to Nigerians here, helping like the refugees when we had like the refugee challenge at the city of Brampton was actually very, very commendable, because that is why those kind of organizations exist, not just for the sake of gathering or maybe just, just for the sake of socials. Because I mean, there's more to people than just gatherings. So I must really commend the Network of Nigerians in Canada. And if you want to learn more about them, of course, there's a website. Go check it out. Google Network of Nigerians in Canada. You'll be able to find out more information about them. So why did you even start the Network of Nigerians in Canada? Just to ask you, because I'm surprised. There are a lot of things that are happening in this conversation that are surprising to me. Because first of all, you arrived in Canada in 2018. That's like 7 years ago. I thought you've been here for like maybe like 12 years. Like,
I
how?
myself sometimes.
How and why did you start?
So I wouldn't play down on the fact that I believe I have certain God-gifted qualities.
Yes.
That enables me to start something, set up the right team, and thrive in it. In 2018, when we landed, and this was in March, we didn't know anything. I'm one of those people that landed in Canada blindly. No family, no friends, almost zero information.
Same as
I
me.
just believed that I would land and excel. It was just... Once we landed, of course, the reality hit. You needed to have information before you came in. You need to know more. You need to do more. And so it was organic for us, starting to build that relationship. And once I made my first set of friends, we sat down one day and we decided, listen, it wasn't easy for us. Don't you think it would make sense to have something that will make it easier for others coming after us? Whatever it is, just
paying it forward.
Once they come in, they have the people before them to help them. Exactly. And so the first thing we did was a program in November of 2018. We got a realtor,
a mortgage broker?
Yes, a broker of records, right? And we told him, listen, you just give us an idea of this whole real estate business, how to get homes, whether renting, how to get homes, whether you want to purchase and all that. We did that, friends gathered, and it was a location in Brampton. It was really successful, and the guy had a lot of insights. So after that, we were just hungry for more, but we weren't sure what that more would look like. And I was working in the city of Brampton then, so I'd seen the importance of having access to the government. So one day I gathered the same people and I said, listen, if we actually want to gain traction, we might want to do something with the government. They would always have the way to put it in social media, blow it for us, as it were. And so while we were thinking,
what's blow it for us? It's not only Nigerians that are listening to us.
So blow it for us means blow your trumpet. So they will help us blow our trumpet, as it were.
Like expand your reach.
Yes.
Okay.
So we decided to go for a program with the government. First, we got a name, just, Nigerians in the GTA. And then we decided to say, okay, since it's a Nigerian-centric body, let's pick one of those Nigerian activities. And just at about that time in 2019, the government had just changed Democracy Day in Nigeria from May 29 to June 12. And so we wrote to the city and said, listen, we would love to have a proclamation of this day. So, we can come to the Holo chambers, talk to the councillors and mayor, gather Nigerians together, or people of Brampton in general, and talk about it. And so they approved of it. That was the first proclamation for the Nigerian community for June 12, and it was actually the first anywhere in the world. The city of Brampton was the first to give a proclamation for June 12.
Trailblazing all the way.
And it was a huge event. The chambers was full of Nigerians, and you know how they dress. Flamboyant, colorful, the ladies with the headgear,
Trust us.
the guys with the attire.
We never disappoint.
Later, we got to find out that was the first time, and the only time really, that the hall was filled to capacity with one community because of a proclamation.
Wow.
And so that just changed it for NNC, Network of Nigerians in Canada.
Wow.
And after that, we got a strategic session, we got a team, executive, we got a board, and, today we are pretty much established. We have sister organizations. We've got a lot of people that have started and trailblazing. And NNC is just proud to have played its part and played its part very well. We were always deliberate. And that has really paid off because the team always worked together. There was a team, a dream, sold to the team believed, the team bought into it, and everybody came to the table with the ideas.
Wow, 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 wow. So much has been said. And, I feel that, you have to be very passionate about this to continue doing it. Because I know in the last 5 years, of course, you must have encountered your own fair shares of, challenges. Both probably internally, externally, from people that maybe don't even know half the work you're doing, that come after you, oh, you guys, I know that you must have encountered things like that. How or what has kept you motivated regardless of all that?
So, a couple of things. Like I said, my father is a great inspiration. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
He took time to teach me a lot. And for everything he taught me, I saw him live it. So it was easy for me to believe it, easy for me to just do the same thing. And also, I'm a faith person. I believe in the Bible, I'm a Christian, and I have patterned after certain, men of God. One thing I believe growing up is, and this is my mantra, things turn out best for those who make the best out of the way things turn out.
Oh, okay.
So I always motivate myself.
Rewind. Wait, we need that quote again. Uche, I didn't know that Uche was a philosopher.
So things turn out best for those who make the best out of the way things turn out.
Oh my gosh.
Every day I wake up.
Let it soak. We need to let it soak. We need to let it soak. Wait. Things turn out best for those who
make the best
out
of the way things turn out.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a lot, but I get the message.
Yes.
Wait, Uche. Okay, go ahead.
So self-motivation is truly what you need.
Wow.
The world would likely discourage you if you wake up every morning and listen to the world.
Right.
So what I do every morning when I wake up is I shut my ears from the world. I listen to myself. You can do this. Go get it. You are truly the only person that can stop yourself.
Right.
People always talk. Let them talk.
Right.
They like, they hate. You know what you're doing. You're focused. You know it's right. Just keep at it.
Right.
Because one thing I believe is persistence has never failed. Not yesterday, not today, and it will never fail. Once you're persistent, it's always worked. And so even though when those challenges come, I tell myself, hey, listen, you can do this. Just keep moving. And it's really helped me, that self-motivation thing, sail through each day. So
wow.
That's what I do.
Okay, so we need a master class from Uche with all the quotes he has shared with us today because it's so amazing hearing you talk about all these things. But I feel like we've dwelt so much on Network of Nigerians in Canada. Let's talk about the other hats that you wear. So you are the one in charge of investment attractions for the city of Brampton. And handling that role, first of all, what makes Brampton one of the best cities to invest in Canada?
So to start with, Brampton is Canada's fastest growing big city.
Come on now.
There are 25 big cities in Canada. Brampton is the fastest growing.
Okay.
Now, for any business, that's a big deal.
Right.
But what makes Brampton an even bigger deal is the fact that we've had a AAA rating from S&P Global for the last 8 years. Now, if you understand the way these economic ratings work, AAA rating is the highest rating in the world. It's the highest we can get. And we'll be getting these consistently for the last 8 years. Now, for a business person, what this means is Brampton is the surest place you want to put your money into.
Okay.
It's an economically viable city. It's a financially responsible city. It's an investment safe haven. That's what AAA rating very simply means. And so we've been enjoying that for the last 8 years, coupled with the fact that our Economic Development Office, that I'm proudly part of, has got sector managers, professionals, advisors, coordinators that manage different sectors, different programs, including our Brampton Entrepreneur Center. That too is there to manage small businesses, as well as, we manage medium-scale, large-scale businesses. We also have a mayor and council that is pretty responsive to anything economic development. Brampton is also well positioned in the middle of the GTA. Now, if you know the GTA, it is Canada's most vibrant region. It's got about 8
GTA
million
is
people.
the Greater Toronto Area.
Yes, it's got about 8 million people. Everything happens in the GTA, including North America's second largest technology hub, which is the entire stretch from Toronto to Waterloo. And we are in the middle. And if you know something about being in the middle, you have the greatest advantage. We also are close to Highway 401 that has now become the world's busiest highway. We're close to Pearson Airport. And we're just about 70 minutes away.
Okay, Uche is going to make all of us bring all our things and move to Brampton. He's going to make us move all our businesses to Brampton because it's like just selling Brampton by the second. I know that Brampton is, of course, the tech hub of, well, not necessarily Canada, but I mean, I know there are a lot of amazing things that happen in Brampton. I know that firsthand. For example, I know we're trying to explore, of course, bringing some of our tech founders from outside of Canada to come to the Beehive, the Brampton, the Trade Center, and things like that, the business district and stuff like that. But what policies or initiatives are in Brampton that makes it like attractive to, of course, people that are here and maybe even diaspora? Because I mean, I'm sure people across the world will be listening to this and might be thinking, Brampton, why Brampton?
So if you have an innovative business, for
Right.
example, one of the visa streams to come into Canada is the Startup Visa Program.
Right.
And Brampton happens to be a partner to that program because we have the Beehive.
Right.
We also have the accelerator program by Altitude Accelerators. So what this means is if you have an innovative business, one business can have up to 5 co-founders come into Brampton with an open work permit and their families to be established. And typically, you're part of an incubator program. That program pretty much is a masterclass on its own. It exposes you to all things business, your customer base, networking, the partnerships, and the entire innovation district that we have in Brampton. And then you have other visa streams as well that you can use to come into Brampton and take advantage of what we have. Now, most businesses always talk about support. How are we going to be supported? As a municipality, the policy is structured such that we're limited directly to what we can offer. But the same policy is structured such that we have access to the province and the federal government. So we tap into those access to support businesses. And this can be by way of grants, training programs, webinars, mentorship, advisory, and of course, low interest loans. Now, this is typically what any business would need, whether small scale, medium scale, or large scale. We have access. Businesses needs to be plugged into our Brampton Entrepreneur Center. It's a one-stop shop that will give you everything you need. Plus, we also have our community improvement plan, where for new businesses, once you have a physical location, we call it brick and mortar location, and then of course you want to get your office furnished, get your office set up, employ staff. The community improvement plan is a spaced out system that pretty much helps you in terms of property taxation. So we actually tap into that as well to support new businesses.
Okay. So if everybody's listening from the city of Brampton, you guys need to come pay for adverts on our podcast because like Uche has taken all the time to actually sell Brampton to the people and I love it. But yeah, I mean, it's really exciting all the things that you guys are doing in Brampton. I am particularly excited about Brampton because I feel like every time I come there is always like for something exciting, something innovative. You guys do a lot of events. I know there's also like the Black Empowerment Unit there and stuff like that. So kudos to you guys in Brampton. But looking ahead, let's talk about who Uche is as a dad, a husband, and, you know, the immigrant parent. You know, there's so many sides to it now. Raising children these days is not for the faint-hearted. And, of course, with everything that is going on, you know, in the world today, how are you able to balance, you know, being a dad, a husband? You wear all these hats. We spent like a couple of minutes now talking about the hats you wear. And then you come back home to be the dad, the husband. How do you strike that balance?
That's a hat I wear that is the heaviest hat, the best.
I know.
I mean, I have a lovely son, Samuel. Samuel is 3 years old. He's going to be 4 in April. I know that I don't spend all the time with him because, you know, he goes to daycare, I go to work, I do all I do and all that. But one thing I know is any time I get to spend with him, just make it as memorable as possible.
Right.
If you can fill those memories with a lot of laughter, they last a lifetime. They will mean a lot to that young man.
Right.
And so anytime I spend with him, I make sure it is loaded with laughter. There's so much fun. He talks to me, I talk to him, I listen to him, I learn new things from him, I teach him new things. Because he needs that growing up.
Right.
You know, there's
Those
this
are the
magic
memories that he
laughter.
would hold dear.
Exactly. You understand? So it's not an easy balance, but I'll thank God for my wife as well. You understand? She makes me look good. She makes it easy.
Shout out to
You understand?
mommy.
Yes. She understands that, okay, you have to do what you have to do.
Right.
But just to ensure that there's a fine balance, I'll support you the best I can so nothing suffers per se. Just provide a fine balance.
Right.
So she does that. I must even add, she does that effortlessly. She's
Right.
so good at adequately supporting me. You understand? So I really appreciate that. But yes, it's not an easy hat to wear. But like I said, once I find time, I make sure that is quality time.
Right.
And I always make sure there is time for Samuel before he goes to school and then once I pick him up from school. So that's one thing I do. I try to make sure I drop him off, I pick him up. We start to spend those times together as well.
Wow. That's really nice. So shout out to Super Dad and Super Mom.
Yeah.
Hi, Mommy. Shout out to you. Thank you for making it easy. So, of course, raising a child in Canada can be very challenging because, of course, our terrain is a bit different. Unlike when you're in Nigeria, that you can be like, get out or smack the child and stuff like that. How are you navigating the challenges of like raising a child here? Because of course, there's so many things that are being thrown at children, whether it's at school, with the curriculum at school, with the what do you identify as, all these things that are very different from, of course, the generation that you were raised in. How are you navigating that as an immigrant parent?
So it's quite a challenge because for us, it's not just the generation, it's even the culture.
Right.
Completely different. Like you said, culturally, back in Nigeria, you can smack a child. It's okay. It's not seen differently.
It's normal.
It's strictly seen as discipline, right? But here, you really can't do that. You have to be careful.
Right.
So sometimes to understand a challenge or a problem,
You have
look
to
at it from the
practice
reverse side.
gentle parenting.
Yes. So I have friends that have actually had to send their kids elsewhere to pastoral education just because they were beginning to have these challenges as well and they had no idea how to navigate it. So just to be on the safe side, they had to introduce different measures entirely.
Brick and mortar.
And so because I understand this, what I have decided to do going forward is just to ensure that you're doing the same thing my father did for me. Don't just talk. Don't just teach. Show. Because what they see sticks to them way better than anything else. And so I just show him certain things that, hey, listen, this is how it should be. This is what you should do. So I know he's seeing me. And my hope and prayer is he grows up in that way. Like I said, I'm a spiritual person. My Bible tells me if you show up a child, the way that they should go, they will not depart from it. And that's true. If a child repeatedly sees something, hears something, feels something, naturally, that's what they grow up with. Naturally. And so I'm playing my part, and I am hopeful that he will not deviate from that part.
Amen. I'm hoping that too, by God's grace. So, we've talked about a lot of things today, but I want to bring it back to, of course, the immigrants, right? There are a lot of us that are less than 10 years in Canada. I think being less than 10 years in Canada is still categorized as newcomer, right? There are some people that are probably listening, watching, that, they may be in Canada right now or even living in any other country. If you are living away from your home country, I believe that's regarded as diaspora, and they are maybe facing challenges where they are right now. I want you to look in the mirror, in the camera over there, and encourage that person on their immigrant journey, because it's very tough. I can tell my story for days on how tough it was for me when I first came. So I just want you to, share with them what you feel would encourage them today.
So I would start by first saying, eventually, everything will be fine. And you can take that word to the bank. I have a friend whose story was pretty sad. In fact, just to summarize the story, by the time he landed in Canada, he had to walk to his Airbnb from the airport.
Oh dear.
Let that sink in. He landed in Pearson International Airport. He had to walk. Who does that? But that is because his challenge started right from the airport. He couldn't even access anything. Oh, you don't have credit, you don't have a credit card, you don't have this and that. And he ended up walking. But today I tell you he's doing something remarkable. He's in the fintech space. And, you need to watch out for what he's doing. He overcame all that. You know why? Because he was persistent. He didn't stop. He didn't allow those challenges to weigh him down. He believed strongly that no matter what I am passing through, I will go through it. And he has done that, still going through it, but he's in a lot better place. So no matter what the challenge is, learn to access resources. And one thing I've learned now from experience is your number one resource is your immediate community. No matter where you come from, there is a community that is there for you. You need to ask these questions. You need to search. In case you're not good in doing Google search or you're not good in accessing people to ask questions, walk into the nearest city hall. Just go to the information desk. Ask those questions. They normally have information. You can even just Google any newcomer space. Walk in there as well. Ask those questions. Chances are that you will see someone that will point you in the right direction. Begin to access those resources. Go to those meetings. Talk to people. By the time you meet those people, you will get some things done for you. If it is that you need to get a job, you need to, start to get into certain spaces, you can also do that through volunteering. So the way I describe volunteering is, and I'm a Christian, right? So volunteering to Canada is like faith to Christianity. It's a big deal in Canada. You actually have some people that will tell you, don't talk to me, don't come into my space if you don't have any history of volunteering. It's a big deal. Look for somewhere to volunteer.
Acts of service.
Yeah. I did that. And trust me, it opened spaces for me. Today, I'm on the board of William Osler Health System Foundation. It's a prestigious board. It's one of the largest in Canada. I got into that space through volunteering, by recommendation, because people saw what you're doing. They appreciate it. And that's exactly what can happen to anybody. If I can do it, trust me, I'm not a Superman. If I can do it, you can do it. Even effortlessly, even better. So start by volunteering. Give your time, give your talent, give your little treasure. But start off in those spaces, and I tell you, it will open up for you. And don't be discouraged. Every time you feel discouraged, every time you feel like, oh, I need to pack up and go, just remember that there's a reason why you came here in the first place. And you have to fulfill that reason. And like I said earlier, self-motivation. Wake up every day, shut yourself from the noise from the world, and focus on that which you must do to succeed. And you will succeed. Hang in there.
I agree. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Uche. I even feel encouraged by your words, because if you can do it, I can do it too. And you've actually, in such a short time, you've been able to get into some of the, what is considered some of the most prestigious positions in this country under 8 years, right? And, I think that's one of the reasons why I find you very, very fascinating, because, most of the things that you're doing now is what most immigrants that have been in countries would probably be doing 20 years, 15 years. So, I know there's an acceleration in your step, like God is obviously with you. And, I just wanted you to, talk a bit on that part, because I know, everybody can say, I work hard, volunteer, yes. But how has this relationship that you do have with God really propelled you forward?
Faith. If you look at the Bible, there are a couple of stories in the Bible that just show that people just had faith. They never stopped. Abraham, for example, his story is so fascinating. I pattern my belief after Abraham and Job.
Hey. I like Abraham's story, because that's like the most, hitting the nail on the head scripture when it comes to immigration, or is it immigration they call it now, which is, go out of your father's house to a land that I will show you. Continue.
And he didn't know where that is. He didn't ask. He just moved. Faith. Because you know who is behind you. You know who has told you to do something. You know that person will never fail. That simply means you will never fail.
Right.
Another person too is Job. He lost everything. But what did he do? He was still focused on that one person he believed in. And he didn't just get back everything. He got them in double fold. So I always knew growing up that I have no choice but to succeed because of the person that I look up to. And he has really never failed me. Like you said, sometimes I look back and I surprise myself. I'm
Right.
like, oh, wow, really? But I always make sure I recognize that it isn't me. Okay? It's somebody
Right.
behind. But of course, you have to be in the right space with him. It's a give and take relationship. There
Right.
are expectations, so to speak. There's
Right.
love behind it. Love has no expectations. But because he's the person you serve,
Yeah, things
there are
to
things
do.
you just have to do to make sure that bond is not broken.
Wow, that's amazing. And wow, this this episode is something that I know that I'll probably go back to listen to. I want to thank you so much, Uche, for joining us.
Thank you.
I have heard some things about you today that I had no idea. So finally, I wanted to say thank you to you for joining us. I know you're so busy, and scheduling this was a bit challenging, but you still took the time and you're here and you came all the way. Thank you. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. And on a final note, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who has stayed with us. I hope you found this episode very exciting, very insightful, and helpful as well. If you want to find out more about Brampton, where do we go?
So a couple of links. There is brampton.ca.
One link.
Just
because
one?
Brampton has to pay for adverts. One link. What's the city of Brampton's website?
Okay, it's simple. Just brampton.ca.
Brampton.ca. And I know that we also talked about your initiative, which is the Network of Nigerians in Canada. Where do people find that?
Networkofnigerians.ca.
Networkofnigerians.ca. So there you have it from Uche. Uche has shared so many gems today, and I want to thank you so much for staying with us. And I hope to see you on another exciting episode of the Immigrant Podcast series. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Bimbola Akinoye. I hope to see you soon. Do take care and stay well.